Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Nina, an interior designer who spends apparently way too much time on TikTok. And I thought we'd do something fun today because of it. So strictly for research, of course. Today, we're gonna dive into the world of TikTok DIYs. So you know the ones. Some are genius and some are questionable. And some make me wanna call a contractor immediately. But I think there's a lot of fun that we can have together regarding these TikToks because they're mesmerizing. We're gonna talk about the ones that work, the ones that don't work, and what I think about it. Don't you think that'll be fun today? If you think it's gonna be fun, sound off below, let me know. If you guys have not subscribed, this would be a good time to subscribe because we have a whole lot of fun on this channel and we talk about interior design from all aspects. Now, as a designer, I've seen a lot of DIY projects, both good and bad. And let's just say TikTok has become the wild, wild west of design. So there are moments, like I mentioned, that are really, really smart and chic and work. And other times where I'm like, please don't do that. Put the glue gun away. I have my AirPod and I'm gonna react as you guys watch along to some of the most viral TikTok DIYs floating around right now. And I'm gonna give you my unfiltered thoughts. By the way, I haven't seen any of these videos. So this is like off the cuff, no reaction, meaning true reaction, hasn't been rehearsed. And I'm gonna give you right off the bat exactly what I think. Spoiler alert, there are some hot takes coming. Okay. I'm a little concerned about the warranty of these machines. By the way, when you modify them, they will no longer warranty your machine. So this is an absolute no. Don't even think about it. There was a moment where I thought maybe this could work, but then when the appliques came on, that's when my radar said no. Okay, the no demo bathroom. Let's see what's happening here. I like the fact that she's cleaning everything. I like the spraying of the radiator. I like the repair that she's doing. The music is on point because I now have anxiety. There's a Laura Ashley wallpaper going up in this bathroom. Okay. Guys, in my opinion, we just ruined this bathroom. A lot of you might say, well, it looks better, but it doesn't. The reason it doesn't is because this is a 1930s, 40s bathroom with original ceramic tiles. I want all of you guys to embrace what was there and keep it. I do believe in restoring some of the cracked or ruined tiles, but to paint them beige is really stripping it and voiding it of any of its character. So, and then putting this Laura Ashley striped wallpaper just doesn't work in this bathroom for me at all. I wish she had restored it to the way that it was in sort of that old Art Deco vibe. And maybe put in a new mirror or, let me see, put in a new grout line. But I love the purple and green. It's so original. And now we're just void of any design ethos. And it's just not for me. All right, next. Okay, this is genius. At first I didn't know what she was doing. She picks up a basket and turns an ugly thermostat into something that's a bit decorative. And so if you guys have an unattractive item on the wall, this is really pretty smart. Morgan, I'm feeling you. Now, there's lots of different things you can put in that basket, and you could find a vintage basket and not put anything inside of it. And I know a lot of us have these weird panels on the wall, so that could also work for an old electric panel or electrical panel or something of that nature. Okay, now we're gonna see a hidden storage box. Let's watch this together.
After sharing this DIY a few months ago, I had to come back and complete the wall with the final frame that I was missing. If you missed it, this is the best saving storage hack. It's dual purpose with a picture frame front that I thrifted and a hidden storage box with shelves that I built. To assemble the frame, I'm using cut pine wood with straight edges and framing it together with wood glue and a brad nailer. Then you're ready to fill the nail holes and gaps with wood filler and sanding the next day and staining. Once everything is dried, I'm ready to measure and mark my hinges. Start off by pre-drilling a hole and then install the screws. Pre-drilling will help so it doesn't crack the wood. Many of you asked if there were hidden hinges, but I found that you would have to recess most of them. Next, I'm adding a door magnet which will help secure the frame and the box together. Easy, right? To make it easy to interchange your artwork, I'm adding picture frame turn fasteners. The final touch is adding back hooks for hanging. And now we have a dual purpose storage cabinet that you can display artwork in, store all sorts of items such as medicine, creams, and makeup. Doesn't even have to be cosmetic. And with no shelves, you can even hide things like a door ringer.
Okay, for those of us with small spaces, this I think is absolutely genius. I wish I had Sarah's capabilities where I could use a drill like that. I do not know how to do that, but hats off to her, and I think this is genius. It's great to be able to hide, again, ugly thermostats and be able to have additional storage. So many of us do not have that, and what a great space to hide your vitamins. I know everybody's popping so many vitamins lately, so this would be a great way to have them, even in your bedroom. So this is a wonderful DIY art frame idea. I would think that you guys who are DIYers could certainly do this in your home and take advantage of this fantastic idea. Okay, the next one is absolutely mind-blowing. What this girl has done, Elena, is genius. And I want you guys to pay close attention to this because there's something beautiful about it, and I'm going to tell you why.
The next owners of this house are going to be so mad at me, but you know what? It's my house right now, and this is what I want to do with it. So welcome back to the smallest room in my home. We're turning it into my dream office. Here are the inspiration photos. In part one, we color drenched the room in Palladian Blue by Benjamin Moore. And now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, the wood paneling. The first order of business was getting the trim stained. We used a gel stain for this in the color Ipswich. And the actual panels are red oak plywood. It's a very thin piece of wood, as you can see. Bob used construction adhesive on the back of the panels, and my job was to line up the hole that was made for the outlets and pull that through. And then we both were just really pressed and pressed and pressed to get it to stick. And he used finishing nails all along the perimeter. The goal was to get it to be really close to the edge so that the trim would eventually cover. I even got in there with the gun myself, yes. When I tell wood, and then like blending. So finally that was over, and it was now time to put the trim on. Lined up and cut the baseboard, nailed that on, and then I tried to help here and like hold it while he nailed it, but the ladder would not hold the both of us, so I kind of just supervised and let him take over with the trim. Hey, there's me helping again. I'm helping. The key to this was making sure that the trim was straight and level, so Bob would hold the level like against the trim, and then I went in with the nail gun and secured everything. And that is it. Like, look how beautiful.
Okay, you guys just saw that. So what they essentially did is that they brought in wood panels and they lined the entirety of the wall. Now, this is tremendous. Very well done by Elena and her, I think, boyfriend, husband, not sure. Gluing these panels to the wall, again, is simple. It looks a lot simpler than it is. Probably not as simple as you might think. And the reason she has these joints in the middle is because these panels only come in a certain width. And so the way to deal with that, because you're never going to be able to put these joints together perfectly, is to have a little space between them and create that molding, which she does. And then, of course, painting the room in a solid blue or green or whatever is takes your fancy, or whatever you prefer. My opinion is that this is a lot of work. One way to cut it in half is to purchase wood veneer panels that are already stained, which are very inexpensive. And it'll cut your labor and maybe the cost, because you would literally have to spend a lot of time and material in staining these panels. But you can certainly buy veneer panels and then line your walls with them for those of you that are DIYers, and it would look just as fantastic. So hats off to Elena. By the way, I'm gonna save one of the best ones for last, so make sure and stay to the very end. Now we're gonna watch the twisted knob create a wall out of white toothpaste, it looks like. Looks like we put Colgate all over this wall. So look, no shame on the twisted knob. I'm sure that she's a wonderful person. But there's something about this wall that doesn't work for me. I'll tell you what it is. It looks like toothpaste, right? So if you want to create a wall that resembles plaster, you're going to have to use a spatula. And you're going to have to do a thinner layer of plaster, and you're just going to have to keep going and going. And you can do this with paint, by the way. Portola has a great paint that's called Roman clay, and you can create this DIY yourself, but with a spatula, and you'll see that it'll look a lot better. If you want something that is as interesting and artful like Maison Bulle by the architect Antti Lovag, in that case, then you're going to want to not create such symmetrical bubbles and shapes. You're going to want to create a design that tells a story, which would be a lot more exaggerated and haphazard. So she is mimicking similar strokes, and you want to do wider, more artful strokes. And that is my take on how she does plaster on her walls. Okay, now we're going to talk about faux wooded beams, what I think of them, and what I think of this TikTok. Let's watch.
Again, I cut 1/2-inch foam boards into the size I needed, and you can use any width that you want. I use liquid glue to glue this all together, and no, it will not eat through the foam. And then I tape it together just to hold it all in place. I used drywall mud to fill in any cracks that I didn't have even. You could use anything you wanted here, but that's what's easiest for me. I then painted the beam. You can use any latex paint in any color you'd like. I hit it with a hammer to add some texture, and then I go in once it's dry, and I add another layer of paint. Extra foam pieces that I had cut, so I knew they were the right width. You could use wood, anything you wanted. I glued and nailed them into the ceiling, and then I pinned in my foam beam. I used a wood filler for my nail holes because it's already tan and it matched my underneath color, so I didn't have to repaint. Touch up with some stain, and then I caulked around the edges, and just like that, I have a faux beam. And this thing...
Okay, so Lindsay is known for making these wood beams out of foam. And in fact, would you guys believe it or not, a lot of contractors and architects use foam on the exterior of buildings, and then they can plaster it. So foam is actually a very, very good architectural material as long as you're not stumbling into it, meaning it can't be on a surface that you can actually interact with. So anything on the outside of a building, like a building surround, instead of precast, can be foam, and then you literally do your plaster over it, or your finished stucco coat over it. It also works as beams inside the home because you're not going to interact with the beam that's up there. And by the way, when you touch it, it feels hard because it's a hard foam. And especially if you put stucco over it outside, it feels rather hard. However, you could take a hammer and, easily dent the thing. Her beams look great. They look very real. And the fact that they're light, they're easy to install, and it is very, very genius. The only caveat is, in my opinion, that is not a good location for a beam. It looks better, in my opinion, without a beam. However, if you were to place this beam perhaps in a living room or in a family room or along a longer ceiling, then you will have a much better outcome. All right, now we're going to talk about two I really love, and we're going to finish with my favorite. This is from the flipped piece. We're going to watch this video and then I'm going to comment.
Get some pool noodles or pipe insulation and secure on your railing with zip ties. Then go get some foliage and do some Halloween bits by adding in some spooky foliage, some spiders for fun, and more spiders crawling up the railing. And this is the final result. This is such a cool way to decorate your house for Halloween. And the best part is when it's done.
I love the fact that she used pipe insulation. I think that's genius. She deserves an award for this along your staircase, or your stair rail, I should say. And this material can easily be purchased at a hardware store. It literally wraps your pipes in your walls. And the fact that it can be perforated with different objects or with even wire that you can place on crafts that you want to decorate your railing with is a really wonderful idea. I know that sometimes we do temporary installations for the holidays, and this would be a great way to do even fresh, even live flowers. Flowers have stems. You can pierce your stair railing with it. Great for a dinner party. Great for a shorter amount of time. But then again, they can dry as garland does over time, and it could still work beautifully. In my staircase one winter, what we did was we zip tied all of the garland to the stair rail, and you know, the garland dried over time, and of course it started, needles kept falling, but that's just part and parcel of the holidays. But I love this idea. I would be very picky with the items that I'm piercing into the rail, but I think that you guys can have a lot of fun with this idea. Maybe I'll try it this winter at my home and do something really fun with it. So I'll let you guys know. And since so many of you asked, today I'm wearing this adorable new, beautiful little boucle winter fall jacket. It's a little bit of a crop top with gold round buttons. I'm pairing it with an old pair of Saint Laurent Bermuda shorts that I'm loving for the fall, and my flat ballet shoes from Totem. All right, now we're going to tune into Crystal King, who has an incredible idea that I want to share with you.
Can somebody tell me why standing desks are so ugly? And this might be controversial, but for the most part, I hate the color grey. I bought a load of these salad bowls from IKEA. They were 15% off for IKEA family members, so how could I resist?
Crystal literally takes, as you guys just saw, wooden bowls from IKEA, cuts them, and turns them into these little balls as ball feet. I think it is genius because I agree with her. Most desks that are inexpensive are very unattractive. And this is a great way to do a DIY project. I wish I had Crystal's talent. I do not. However, I think this looks amazing. The only thing I wouldn't do is the faux marble top. That kind of gives it away that it's fake. I would rather just paint or stain the top in a wood or get that veneer. Remember, we're buying veneer for our walls? Well, you could certainly veneer the top of this desk easily, and I think that that would look absolutely smashing. Did you guys agree with me, or was there something that you were opposed to? I want to hear if any of these really inspired you. Are you going to try any of them? I have to say, I was really inspired. I love the fact that there are so many people with such creative talents that are out there and are creating wonderful things. So it kind of makes me want to panel this whole room in veneer. Of course, I'd hire people just because I'm not a DIYer, but I'm obsessed with seeing your reaction. So I want to see what you guys think. Now, remember, sometimes it's fun to try a DIY, but other times it's okay to leave it as is or leave it for the professionals. I do love seeing all the TikToks out there, and I appreciate everybody who does DIY work. No shame on anyone. I love everybody who actually puts themselves out there for content. I think it takes a tremendous amount of courage, and it takes a tremendous amount of talent. So everybody who did something did a wonderful job. I'm just sharing what I would do if I had the ability, which I don't, to be as good as they are. I love you guys, and I can't wait to see you again next week on this channel, The Red Elevator.